you're considering coaching and you're potentially considering partnering up with our amazing team, Brave, Fierce, and Free. So, of course, you want to know, all right, all this information about coaching sounds great. What kind of support am I going to get? Am I going to get official training, or am I kind of set out to just kind of figure it out on my own? The good news is that you do not have to figure it out on your own. And although you're in business for yourself, you're never by yourself. There are different levels of training that you can receive, each build on top of the other. But all of them basically boil down to the power of duplication. What do you mean by duplication? Duplication is basically taking systems that have already proven to work and make them work for you. And in our specific profession, duplication is basically the secret sauce to growing as fast as possible. Again, you're like, well, what does that exactly mean? Well, basically, it's taking a large group of people, doing a set of very simple, basic tasks over a long, extended period of time. Systems have already been created. They've been proven to work because, hey, success leaves clues. That doesn't mean that with time, you don't put your own touch, spin, maybe make some alterations, but the foundation of it is pretty much, it works.
So don't reinvent the wheel.
I did that initially, and I'm telling you, just don't even waste your time. And at the foundation of this duplicatable system are 4 vital behaviors. Invite, invite, invite. Be proof that the product works, which is basically walk the walk. Personal development, meaning growing and becoming a better version of yourself, inside and out.
In business, in your personal life, and everything in between.
And then 4 is recognition. This is recognizing, thanking, freaking giving shout outs to your clients, to your coaches, even your friends and your family who've been supporting you. As you develop your skill set and your consistency, obviously it will go beyond those 4 foundational activities. However, regardless of the phase or the stage that you're at, you will always be doing at bare minimum those 4 key activities. And each training, each level of training is intended to build on the other. So for example, if you haven't mastered phase 1 of the training, there's no need to jump to phase 4 of the training, because it's as if you are, for example, I think a lot of us can relate to the traditional corporate world. It's as if you're starting as a coordinator and then all of a sudden becoming director or VP.
It just doesn't happen.
So what are the levels of training? I've actually broken them down to 4 different categories. The first is new coach training. It's your basic, hey, I just started a new career, foundational orientation type of training. This is where you not only learn the basics, but this is where you learn a lot of the industry and even company jargon, so you can start connecting the dots into the next level, which is your intermediate training. This is where you're actually starting to put a lot of things more into action. And then you have your advanced training. And this is where you're really starting to develop more of your brand and your niche and attraction marketing. And so those 3 levels are more of the new coach training. But the 4th level is more of that leadership training. You lock arms with me. And that's a little bit more of ongoing. At this point, you're steering your own ship. I'm just there to help continue guiding you. All levels of training are guided by 4 simple yet very important principles. The first is to dream big. When's the last time we were actually allowed to dream big and not have someone like poo-poo on it? Like, don't think that big, you'll get let down. Be realistic. This is your chance to be obsessed with your vision and your passion. The second is to keep it simple. You've heard of that, the KISS method.
At least I hope you have.
Anyway, the third is having long-term thinking, very important. And the 4th is to be you and be you unapologetically. And of course, the training and the systems are not going to work on their own, right? Anybody who is engaged in them, who is applying the information, is going to be successful. And here are some of the ways that I really like to encourage any new coach apprentice to really follow. And the first is to not get ahead. You know, again, I've mentioned this a few times, but the trainings are intended to build upon each other. The second is to definitely, we all have different skill sets from our backgrounds. Bring those to the table. However, be 100% coachable. Leave the ego to the side, because I did this at the beginning and I want to help you avoid some of that heartache. Success leaves clues, and all of this is built on the success of a lot of other people. Don't let your ego tell you otherwise. So don't reinvent the wheel, because know-it-alls never are successful. But I know you're not one of those. And the other thing is to have humble confidence and be willing to just really push through any barriers and any fears. Get outside of your comfort zone, girlfriend. No matter the path that you choose for coaching, be here a year from now. And then once you get there a year from now, be here another year, because anything worthwhile is not an overnight thing. Whether you're doing unconventional online business or whether you're doing a brick and mortar, it takes time, it takes intention, it takes hard work, and it takes having that humble confidence. So this is what I want you to think about. Think about my trainings and my mentorship more so like certifications in our specific profession and training within our company and our industry. Because these trainings and this type of mentorship is an unconventional way to receive an education, unlike the traditional 4-year degree.
Believe me, I know, because I have a 4-year degree.
So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go to 4 years and get a school, or maybe you haven't been in school for a while and you're thinking about going back, oh, for me to be successful, I'm going to need to get this, hoping you can earn $50,000, $70,000, or maybe you're making that and you're hoping for an extra $20,000. Instead, shift your mindset and thinking of gaining mentorship and training while you're building a business and earning an income as you learn. Bam.
Drop the mic. What?
Yeah, I said that. Oh my God. Okay, back to being serious. Don't believe me? Okay, let me give you another example. All right, let's talk about college. The average tuition is give or take $35,000. That's for a 4-year degree.
And there is no guarantee of getting a job. How long it's going to take a job. How much money you're going to make. Whether you like the people you work with, whether you like the job, you may be bouncing around.
And you're still unhappy. Okay, so you got a job. May or may not like it. The average salary for Floridians is about $40,000, give or take. And the average vacation days is about 11. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy the fact that I went to Greece for a month and could take my business with me. All right, so let's now talk about a franchise, a traditional franchise system. The average cost to invest into a franchise is about $35,000. And to put it into even more perspective, to open a McDonald's, you have to have $750,000. And that's just to get started. Also, you got to consider that doesn't include marketing fees, royalties, or ongoing franchise fees. And according to entrepreneur.com, the average profit of a franchisee owner is about $66,000. So again, I'm going to remind you that this is not a quick, rich anything. There are different levels of coaches depending on your specific goals. That doesn't mean that, you start off initially as one and then decide to become a little bit more engaged and move to another level of coaching. That's totally up to you. But just like anything, and I'm saying this again because it's so important for you to hear.
This takes time.
It takes effort, and it takes a lot of hard work. So I'm not going to promise you the sun and the moon and the stars if you're not willing to work for it.
But I will say this.
There is really nothing out there with this low cost entry point without any type of ceiling. What you put in is what you get out. So again, the training systems are there. They are here as tools to help you reach your specific goals if this is something that you wanted to pursue. And as part of a brave fierce and free tribe member. As one of our coaches, as one of my coaches that I'll be mentoring you, not only will you get the initial training and the ongoing support, but you will also be part of a culture, as part of a fit family that really helps you in so many different ways and helps empower you to create a life full of love, light, and freedom, and to pay that forward to others.